This video is about 6 sneaky ways society has destroyed your focus. And if you're not aware of these things, you're fucked. Number 1, your desires are tickled. When I read Sapiens by Yuval Harari, something was revealed to me. Have you ever thought about why high fat, high sugar foods taste so good? Have you ever thought about why we binge on these foods? For most of human history, we lived in complete scarcity of food. When we did hunt that fatty animal in the jungle, when we did gather those high sugar fruits in the bushes, we were incentivized to gorge on them as quickly as we could because we did not know when our next meal would come. As we ate, regions in our brain lit up, promoting the production of dopamine and serotonin, telling the brain, you know that animal you just hunted? Do it again. You know those fruit you just gathered? Do it again. Today we have an abundance of food. We can binge on an endless supply of food. Food that is extremely calorie dense, high in fat, high in sugar, and extremely rewarding. Our reward systems have been hacked. You know those Uber Eats you just ordered? Do it again. And it's not just food either. We have other primitive desires that aid our survival. Back in the days of the jungle, a single human couldn't do very much. But a whole tribe of humans, well, they could conquer the world. Social connection and social acceptance was the key to the survival and success of our species. If you were not friendly and well liked, the chances of you withstanding the test of time was slim. Our reward systems have been programmed to look for the validation of others. We are constantly scanning for our place in the tribe, and we calibrate towards it. Enter social media. Social media is a game of social acceptance and social status. Two things that we have been programmed to strive for. In the primitive days, it was important to explore. Exploration provided experience. Experience provided feedback for positive and negative events. And that feedback provided learnings. Through learnings, we grew as people, and those stories were shared communally around the campfire. But today we can sit alone in our own apartments, pretending to explore by playing video games or watching someone else's story. There is very little growth in that, but our reward systems, it doesn't know the difference. Your reward system behaves exactly the same way. Modern society has provided supplements for ancient desires, and now we have become completely dependent on it. A habit has been formed. 2, your pains are soothed. Imagine you're a product developer. Your product needs to solve a problem for people, and if those people see value in it, they will pay for it. They will give you money. Your first job as a product developer is to get your target customer to use the product. That means that you have to understand your customer's pains, desires, and emotions. You need to understand the user's triggers. These developers know that 90% of your triggers are internal, not external. Let me rephrase that. 90% of your triggers are internal negative emotions. Coca-Cola doesn't advertise soda. Coca-Cola advertises kicking back with your mates and having a good time. Social connection. Coca-Cola wants you to associate friendship with their drink. So the next time you feel a little bit of loneliness, a drink that reminds you of friendship can soothe the pain. Your next job as a product developer is to make sure your user is continually using the product. You are literally incentivized to make your product as addictive as possible. Coca-Cola did this by adding some certain chemicals. In the context of media, it's about keeping your brain in the constant state of prediction. To put it very simply, your brain doesn't react, it predicts. It's constantly taking guesses about what's going to happen to you in the future. When you make a prediction, dopamine is released. It narrows your focus down to the target and also sets up an expectation of what you think the reward might be. There's an open loop and you need to close it. So you wait for the result, and if the result exceeds your expectations, dopamine is signaled again, reinforcing that behavior and also forming a habit. This is the game every creator, individual or company on every single platform is playing. They want an automatic process to happen. A process where you reach into your pocket, pull out your phone, open up the app, and then boom, instant relief. You doom scroll because now you're in a state of prediction. And that leads me to number 3. You are the product, not the customer. How do these companies know your pains and desires so well? metadata. Your behavior is being tracked online, your conversations are being listened to, your data is being sold. Large and complex AI models are being used to form archetypes of different people. For example, if a lot of teenage boys' engagement increases online when they look at gym bunnies, then every person that fits that demographic is going to be shown gym bunnies and OnlyFans models. The algorithm tests, learns, and adapts, constantly evolving to tickle your desires and to soothe your pains, all the while lighting up your brain like a Christmas tree and ultimately changing the neural networks in your brain, forming very strong habits. Now, we still don't know how deep this actually goes, where our data is going, who it's being sold to, how we are being targeted, but we do know this. These companies know us better than we know ourselves. Time out. I want to talk about something that's been bothering me lately. My most popular video to date is a video about your phone being a distraction because you have internal triggers. And it's worthwhile understanding what these internal triggers are and why you have them so you then can protect yourself. Sounds fine, right? But a few weeks ago, I got this comment. This is a pretty individualist look at how society works. And to be honest, it feels like a false pull yourself up by your own bootstraps take that won't benefit anyone in the long run. Things suck. You are not individually responsible for society making your life worse. Not everything should fall on you, the individual shoulders. These are called societal ills for a reason. You need mass change, not just some everything that happens to me is my own fault mentality, which, if you think about it, is more victimizing than just saying, the world kind of sucks for everyone and I should contribute to making it better. This is actual laziness. I'm not angry at the comment. I appreciate these comments. It forces me to look at the content I'm putting out there and to analyze what impact I'm having. And I do agree with most of it because, let's be honest here, there are things happening in society that is making focus very difficult. But this comment is lacking something very important. And I'll get to that. So Kai, if you're watching this one's for you, my boy. Number 4, modern life has murdered flow. Let's take a look at some attention statistics. University students struggle to stay focused for more than 65 seconds. Office workers struggle to stay focused for more than 3 minutes. CEOs in Fortune 500 companies only get 26 minutes of uninterrupted work per day. It takes 23 minutes to get back to the level of focus you had before an interruption. Modern life has become so segmented and so fast-paced that there's no space left for anything meaningful. School is broken up into 1-hour blocks. You're forced to learn about things you don't care about. There's no play, no exploration, no curiosity, and work for many people is pretty much the same. It's just a series of tasks that you have to complete to get your pay packet. School and work incentivizes multitasking, and the logic is pretty solid. The more things I can do at the same time, the more things I can complete, and the more productive I will be. Problem is, this is wrong. The brain cannot do more than one thing at a time. So when you're multitasking between emails, report writing, and calculations, while your neighbor is distracting you, what you're actually doing is juggling. You cannot be both focused and distracted at the same time. And what everyone fails to recognize is the switch cost effect. It takes an enormous amount of energy to switch from one task to another, and it degrades your ability to do anything. You can't think, and you definitely can't focus. So the more that you get interrupted and the more that you get distracted, the worse your focus is going to be in the future. And the worse your attention becomes, the more you'll get distracted. And so it's circular. No area of modern life provides the conditions of flow anymore. For flow, you need a singular focus, work you find meaningful, and to be sufficiently challenged so you're neither bored or anxious. When in flow, people report feeling active, creative, motivated, concentrated, and strong. But because society isn't set up for flow, they feel the opposite. Apathy, passive, distracted, weak. So what do you do when you feel this way? Well, if the product developer did their job, and they do, there's a product waiting for you to soothe your pains and to tickle your desires. And it doesn't require any effort on your part. And so you never find flow. You're in a constant state of distraction and your attention is constantly degrading. But it gets even worse. 5, society is toxic, literally. There are toxic chemicals everywhere that are destroying your focus. There are chemicals in the air you breathe causing inflammation of the brain and ruining your focus. The food you eat is pumped full of preservatives and chemicals that are harmful and also low in nutrients. We now live in a society where people are overweight and undernourished. That is insane. There are endocrine disruptors in the water you drink, the plastics you use, and in many other everyday products. And being a chemical engineer, I really do appreciate the chemical magic that is happening inside of us to allow us to function. It's all chemical, man. And it really doesn't take much to disrupt these chemical processes. Focus and attention only being one of them. 6, learn helplessness. So the situation looks pretty bleak. How are we meant to have focus and attention when everything in society is killing us? So when Kai tells me there's something wrong with society, yeah bro, I know. Roy Baumeister, he's the godfather of willpower. Even he said in an interview with Johan Harari that he is struggling lately to focus. He's the guy who spent his entire professional life studying willpower, and he's struggling. Modern life has created the perfect storm to destroy focus. So this is a result. You're exhausted physically and mentally, your energy levels are fucked, you're not sleeping enough, you're stressed, your body is fighting inflammation everywhere, you're being targeted by literal geniuses with the most complex AI models in the world. The more distracted you get, the worse your focus becomes, so the more distracted you get. I mean, it's fucking comical. And then you have guys like me, YouTubers like me, telling you, hey bro, be focused. Here's the one tip that you need to master self-control, to take control of your vices, to take control of your life. But the truth is, you tried, haven't you? You did the tip, but you failed plenty of times. You have learnt nothing I do works. It's helpless. So let me tell you a story about 2 groups of dogs. Both groups were given electric shocks. One group was allowed to escape the electric shock by pressing a button. But the other group, when they pressed the button, nothing happened. The electric shocks continued. They couldn't escape. The researchers then put both groups of dogs into a pen with a barrier that they could jump over to escape the electric shock. But the dogs that weren't allowed to escape previously made no attempt to jump over the barrier. They accepted it. They believed that there was nothing they could do. So people who have developed learnt helplessness have developed an external locus of control. But people with an internal locus of control do what they can to change their environment. My entire channel is about helping you develop an internal locus of control. I want you to feel every bit of control over your life as I do. I feel like I'm the god of my own existence. It's delusional, I know. But it puts me in the most powerful position to live the life I want to live. This doesn't mean that I believe societal change is hopeless. That's bullshit. There are plenty of things that we can do to increase the well-being of everyone. Things are happening too. Some companies are introducing 4-day work weeks. And in France, there was a crisis of burnout because their entire workforce felt like they were on call for their jobs all the time. So the government created the right to disconnect. And companies would be sued if they tried to punish their worker for disconnecting after work. The real problem I see from where I'm sitting is the flow of money. There's nothing incentivizing companies to make their products less addictive. It's even more difficult for companies to do this when it's not what people want. Look at the healthy social media rap, Be Real. It's been on a downward decline for years. These companies are not going to change on their own. There needs to be incentives for change. But what you guys need to understand is large-scale change is possible, but it takes time. Governments are slow to react and even slower to implement policies that actually make meaningful change. But remember, there was a time when a 40-hour work week wasn't a thing. I really don't know why people fall into one of 2 camps. The first, it's all up to the individual, and 2, it's all up to society. Society is just a collection of individuals with a shared culture. It's in our power to change that, but it's slow. Individual change is much faster, and there are plenty of things you do have control over that will make a meaningful difference in your life. You need to take responsibility for your own problems. You need to understand the world. You need to destroy misconceptions that we are commonly told. That is my entire channel. You can find those things in nearly every video I make, but whether it's me or someone else, the information is there for you, but only you can do it. And if you would like to learn more, I left some useful books in the description. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week.